Today I am joined by Eric Broughton. He runs OK to Charge, a platform that turns EV charging into real revenue lever for property owners.
I'm a person who believes you say what you're going to do and then do what you said. And if that doesn't happen, I'm out. Mark Benioff was in Chicago. This is about 2007, 2008. This guy talked about software as a service and Salesforce. And then just that light bulb moment clicked of, my goodness, SaaS is the way to go for real estate. It's not work-life balance, it's work-life alignment. There will be times when you really have to put extra effort into work, but just recognize that work will always be there, your body won't. So focus on your health.
What is something that you absolutely love talking about that drives everyone else in your life batshit crazy?
Oh, easy one. South Dakota school mines. It's the lowest cost per value. So like there was a time where the average starting salary at school mines was higher than the cost of 4 years of school, which is just unheard of. So that was
insane. What is the truth about business that you didn't believe until you lived it?
The smartest person in the room is not always the right person. But just because you're highly intelligent does not mean that you have the right answer.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Life's a Pitch. Before we get into today's episode, I need you to do me a huge favor. Whatever platform you're on, so Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, make sure to follow or subscribe. I know everybody always says that, but for a newer show like this, one subscriber genuinely makes a huge difference. All right. That's my ask. Let's get to our amazing guest for today's show. Today, I am joined by Eric Broughton. Eric is a multi-exit founder building at the intersection of real estate and tech. He runs OK to Charge, a platform that turns EV charging into real revenue lever for property owners, and is building two more on the side, two more companies. Why not? You got one, you might as well build two more. Yes. Turnit and SpendStreet, both aimed at fixing how multifamily operators actually run their portfolios. Before this run, Eric founded and sold SaaS companies to RealPage and Expedia Group, where he ran multifamily as a GM. He also served as Chief Strategy Officer at Inhabit, where he led a $200+ million P&L across the residential, commercial, and vacation divisions. He's an active investor, advisor, and one of the top voices in PropTech. Eric, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things as I was going through your LinkedIn profile is that you went to SD Mines, which is, if anybody knows, it's a very prestigious school in the engineering space. But that's not what I want to talk about right off the bat.
Oh, come on, man.
I've been there before. How cold did it actually get? At any point were you just questioning the decision on being there?
Yeah, when you're walking, 5 or 6 blocks to school. And just the first block, your face just hurts, and you're just thinking, why am I doing this? And then about the second or third block, you just don't feel your face, you don't feel your fingers. Then you just finally show up and you just kind of sit there in your class. It's brutal. It can get quite cold in South Dakota, yes.
Yeah, it's. I've been to South Dakota before, and actually, no. You know what? I went to North Dakota. North Dakota. We were there for a work trip. We were visiting. It was Fargo. Who was the company that's out there? Was it John Deere? No, it wasn't John Deere. It was another company. Anyway, it's out there. Very, very cold. It was the middle of the winter.
We're South Dakota, way more cosmopolitan than North Dakota. So.
Yes. We both live in Chicago, so we've been in the city walking around when you turn a corner on a building and it's just like razor blades to your face in the middle of the winter.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
I guess it prepped you for that. Yeah. So you're running 3 companies at once, right?
Right.
And I'm running one, and it seems like it's a roller coaster of a ride. What is it what does a typical Tuesday at 2 p.m. actually look like? Is it the squeaky wheel gets the grease? How do you manage to run 3 companies at the same time?
Great question. And I would say it's usually by the 2 p.m. It's a little bit squeaky wheel because definitely have to prioritize your morning to focus on the most important items, the items you want to tackle. So I definitely create my list the day before. Say these are the items I have to accomplish the next day, especially for those 3 businesses. Because to your point, squeaky wheel can get your attention. And if you're not focused on, where's revenue producing, where's my risk, where's my compliance downside, that's where you get in trouble. Then the beauty of these platforms, or it's a platform, so I have all 3 companies in the same PropTech space. So really building infrastructure and building that environment for multifamily PropTech.
Got it. So Are you spending your time more so with one company today than you are another one? And has it at any point, I mean, I guess since they're all tied together, it probably wouldn't, but has it ever cost you anything? Like where one didn't get the attention?
Absolutely. I think, anytime you have some distractions or you spread yourself, that there's absolutely something lost. Now, I think there's something gained by having that strata of there's some cross-pollination of opportunities and then also ideas. But back to your original question, OK to Charge gets a lot of my attention because that was one of the first companies that I founded after leaving Inhabit. And that, we had, like I said, like you mentioned that earlier, $200 million revenue, big company. Want to get back to that startup feel. And I'm also electrical engineer, one of these degrees. And then it was founded that company, EV charging software in a responsible manner. So that gets a lot of my attention, and I'm still very excited about the innovation. Just that the marketplace is not as conducive to EV charging right now. So I saw I had to augment the opportunity with other areas, and that's where I started to build SpendStreet, and then also Turnit is a platform that I'm building in collaboration with a group in Columbus, Ohio. Actually, so truly fresh.
Go Columbus,
Ohio. Is that right? Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
we have a lot to talk about then. I didn't see that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Dublin, Ohio, and we will never move out of Chicago because my wife is from here. But I would, if she said, and I will put this out to the nether because I've told everybody this. Yes. If she came into this office right now and said, "Okay, I'm ready to move to Ohio," the only spot that she would move is Dublin, Ohio.
Oh, it's beautiful. We would move.
It's a great location.
Yeah, so you're gonna love this. The group I'm working with is Crawford Hoying. So if you know Bob Hoying, he was one of the most decorated quarterbacks. So he has a development division. Brent Crawford has a property management division, and they started this entity. They've been running it for a while. Great guys, really good people. Built a great team there. And then that downtown area, if you've been to Dublin, is just gorgeous what they've done. Yeah, so I love Dublin's there.
Dublin's incredible. The company I used to work for, we had an office in Dublin, so we would go and we would stay on the other side of the river. I forget what that hotel is there.
Pearl District area. That kind
of really nice area. But Bobby Hoying.
Yeah,
I think he won the Rose Bowl. Isn't that the year he beat Arizona? I think he beat Arizona State. Anyway, that's a whole
so I do
Ohio
a call
State
with
conversation.
Them to I guess call it an interview before I joined them, and I didn't know who he was. So I have these two great guys on the call. And they asked me about my college years. I said, well, I played a little college football. And they're like, Bob said, tell me more about your college football. So I'm telling him about my D2 running back glory days. And here's this guy drafted to the NFL. And he's just, tell me more. He's just giving me soft.
That's funny.
Which they loved is that at School of Mines, we were an engineering school, not the best football team. And I'm one of those guys who just fights to the very end. So my take is always, I never lost a football game. We just ran out of time. That's how I look at it.
That's good. That's the outlook on life.
Yes,
perfect.
Exactly.
I love it. So I want to talk about like how all these three businesses are tied together. So it sounds like OK to Charge is the one that you're spending a lot of the time with now. But what's the game plan? What's the big picture version of what this all will ultimately become?
Yeah, the big picture is there's an underlying foundation of each, which is the multifamily. So a lot of people call it apartment complexes, which is a huge, multi-trillion-dollar industry for the U.S. alone. The ICP are really these asset owners or property managers that have 5,000 to say 25,000 units. Of course, clients like Greystar, largest property manager of apartments in the world, over a million units that they manage, apartment units. So we have them as a client as our OK to Charge. Now, will I get SpendStreet in there? Perhaps. Turnit, they should definitely be a client eventually. I'm going to earn that opportunity. But the perfect ICP is really that 5,000 units, about 20,000 units. Somebody that doesn't have maybe a full-time CIO, doesn't have full-time procurement management with the SpendStreet side, and then are just starting to explore into this going green and adding EV charging.
Got it. So when you think about your go-to-market strategy right now, what is getting the focus? How are you guys going out and growing this thing?
Yeah, we're growing it mainly my Rolodex because I think you had a former co-founder Andy Hamilton on call, one of your previous podcasts. So Andy and I built 2 businesses together in the space, sold one to RealPage, one to Expedia Group. So we have quite the Rolodex already in the space. Pick up the phone and call those individuals. But as most things, you still have to earn the opportunity. So it's really my Rolodex. And then also like a Turnit, that's in the Columbus, Ohio region, growing within that base because it's more the vendors in that region, and then grow and then start to smatter around the United States. Whereas SpendStreet can go across the United States and okay to charge. We even have some clients in Mexico, some resorts in Canada as well. So grow. But back to your original question, it's a little bit of word of mouth and then reputation and past experience.
Do you have, like, how big is your team now? Like from a go-to-market team, do you have sales team, or are you primarily the driver of growing each of those businesses?
Yeah, especially with okay to charge, we had a larger sales team, like 4 people at one time. As I kind of shared before the call, EV charging, a little bit more difficult environment. You can blame it on all kind of factors, whether it's administration, others, but you got to own it. Reduce the sales footprint, and it's mostly myself. Have a fractional salesperson as well, and then offshore resources for the most part. So we really reduce that cost, because what we found is that people that are really selling the EV charging, you're not selling to the property managers, it's more the installers that are doing it. A lot of electricians are just doing it, frankly, almost by accident. And they just, got a catalog, got a deal, install these 4, and they don't know why, but got to put them in.
Yeah. So I want to stay on PropTech for a second.
Yes.
It's having I guess, what would you call it, a hype moment right now? Like a lot of operators are getting pitched 20 platforms a week. Like, what's the thing that the buyers are getting wrong right now that the people pitching them don't actually see?
Real estate asset owners are not looking for the next big thing. They're not looking to innovate. It doesn't provide you value. I learned this about 20 years ago. So I used to be an Oracle guy, president of Oracle's user group, loved Oracle, data warehouse, data architect, all these things. I was recruited to Morgan Stanley Real Estate. They bought a portfolio called AMLI Residential, AMLI, for about $2.5 billion. This was around 2006. They buy AMLI Residential. They have an Oracle tech stack, and that's when they recruited me and say, hey, take this tech and deploy it across our $100 billion assets under management. Go in there, start deploying some larger projects. Fortunately, some very large. In 2006, you're probably a young guy, hard to say, but pretty big. A lot of money was flying around in 2006.
Yes.
People were flying high. So there was big projects, Safeguard Self-Storage, and did some other large real estate entities, complete retrofits, multi-million-dollar, $10 million projects. And then what happens is I try to sell some more products right around the financial crisis, and things just start swirling down. So we had to get more creative. First product to try to build is a data warehouse product called it Yield Vision. Sold about 3 companies, but then I realized in real estate, they don't want to spend $300,000, $500K because what you can do in real estate, that you can just leverage that in 10 to 15 to 20x. That $300K, that's maybe $4 or $5 million of an asset I could buy. Well, how to deploy that? You're not going to get that savings. About the same time, Mark Benioff was in Chicago, a Salesforce founder, and he had a luncheon. There was probably about 30, 40 of us sitting at this luncheon in Chicago and listen to this guy talk about software as a service and Salesforce. This is about 2007, 2008. And then just that light bulb moment clicked of, my goodness, SaaS is the way to go for real estate. And that's when I started creating Rent Sentinel and met Mr. Hamilton, who you had in your previous, actually recruited him from a previous company that he and I had worked with before, Oracle Consulting. And built this Rent Sentinel platform, and ended up 9 of the top 10 property managers use it, and it was a complete SaaS. Price per unit, price per month, cloud-based, the whole thing. So, which table stakes now, but at the time was kind of unique going cloud-based. Yeah. So built up that platform, sold to RealPage. But I think going back to your original question, it was that mindset of really price per unit and a SaaS perspective that was quite innovative at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's interesting, the rabbit hole here on the SaaS world. SaaS now is very different because it's becoming commoditized. Anybody can build something with AI. And I think, while Salesforce is still the big name that's out there,
absolutely,
a lot of people can kind of build their own CRM now. Maybe the data, obviously, and everything that's already built, the securities that are within Salesforce obviously are next level, but it's still pretty nuts.
Yeah, the SaaS apocalypse, I think it's a little bit overblown right now because the reality is you still need to have your system of record. And that's where, whether it's your ERP, your property management system, your CRM, Salesforce, Anthropic, you go to their website, they have job job openings for Salesforce. So it's like, okay, even the CRM, even the AI companies need Salesforce. So that kind of tells you where the need is. And I think I'm thinking about this real time because I'm talking to a few groups, maybe my fourth company. So an AI kind of Palantir type concept. You look at the ontology, but I think what's going to happen is the hobbyist AI person, there's going to be some moment, and I guess, this is a podcast, so I can say things like this. There's going to be some moment where either security breach or someone leaves a company, a high-level company, and a lot of these CISOs, security officers, are going to wake up and say, you know what, I probably shouldn't have all these AI floating around, loading up my proprietary data in a very portable format. And I think it's going to be a scary moment.
There was something that just recently happened. I think it wasn't Claude. It was, what's the other tool that is integrated people use with Claude?
Yeah.
Anyway,
and then,
was completely, their entire back end was completely wiped away.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Even Amazon had that with their web services. They were letting AI write too much of the code. And there was some downtime for AWS because their AI just decided this code is not very good. This is garbage. Just delete, and mine is better. Yeah. Well, it didn't work. We've all had our hallucinations with AI, and that happened in a big way.
That's funny. The AI wakes up and says, you know what? I don't like this. I'm going to start over, and just deletes it.
Exactly. Yeah, my favorite is the guy that asks the AI, hey, I got to go to the car wash. Is it quicker to drive my car? Or what's the best way to get to the car wash? It's like, you should walk. It's half a mile. I'm going to walk to the car wash. Thanks, AI. Yeah. So it'll get there. AI, I'm sorry if you're listening to this podcast. I love you. You're great.
Yeah. Please and thank you every time. Please and thank you. Yeah. Yeah. And don't watch Terminator. Too. Yeah. All right. So switching gears a little bit, like most founders, when they exit, they go on to build something bigger, like the next thing. You've had a few exits now, but you went kind of like sideways and started 3 smaller companies instead of one kind of large one. Yeah. What was the play there? I know that you talked about how you wanted to get back into like building from scratch. Is it as simple as that, or was there something else to that?
No, there was a spot in between. Andy and Kevin and I, built Apartment Jet. That was mainly saw this gap in the marketplace. Sold that to Expedia Group. Loving the time at Expedia Group. Made some great friends. Fortunately, the pandemic comes along. Not a good idea to have people staying for 2 nights at an apartment complex with 300 units when COVID's flying around. So I completely understand. It was the right thing to do. But took a little time off, and I thought I had my next big thing. And I took a class at Stanford on machine learning. And this was 2022, and that was probably one of the biggest mistakes I made. I should have stuck with it, and now we'd have a different podcast. I would already sold my AI startup by now. But instead, I was like, cool. I enjoyed the machine learning, writing the code for it. But then I was talking to this group called Inhabit, and Inhabit IQ at the time, and they were rolling up they had at the time maybe about 20, 25 companies that they had bought in vacation rental space, which was adjacent to Verbo and Expedia, which I knew, and then multifamily PropTech. So I felt this is pretty good. And they said, hey, we need to bring somebody on of your kind of skill set in order to get Goldman Sachs to write a check. And I can talk about this because it already happened. So it's not like this was 3 years ago. So I said, okay, that sounds pretty exciting. Not too many times you get to be part of a $200 and $300 million portfolio, get a check from Goldman Sachs. I said, okay, I'm going to do something bigger, to your point. And so I joined Inhabit. Step 1 was a chief strategy officer, take over the vacation division, then the residential, become CEO, take the company public. Felt great. Okay, next thing you know, it's $5 billion and we're off the races. So I took over vacation, took over residential, and then didn't get see eye to eye with the executive team. And I didn't receive that CEO spot. So I said, okay, I'm a person who believes you say what you're going to do and then do what you said. And if that doesn't happen, I'm out. And that's what I did. I said, okay, I'm going to take a step out. And then at the same time, I had on my whiteboard, I had 3 different companies I was thinking of: EV charging, parking management, and energy management. And I met these guys that had just been tinkering with EV charging in the vacation rental sector. I said, okay, I'll work with you guys. And we started building OK to Charge and then launched that. So it felt like the right next step to go from there.
Yeah.
So I planned for the big
all that. I was going to say, it sounds like you were there, but pulled back a little bit, which is a smart move. Yeah. So I always like to ask this question too. I have a lot of friends that exited their businesses some of them multi times. Like
Yeah.
when all that goes on, right? And like what you've built, like your baby, you sell it, the wire hits, and you're just like what is that part that people don't tell you about? It's to me, what I've heard, you get that and it's the initial excitement, but then there's like an emptiness right afterwards. Like, is there anything that you felt there, or was there that kind of lull of just like, now what? Or did you already know? Like like you talked about having the 3 written out on the board.
Right. No, it was, if I go back to, so I've sold 2 companies to RealPage and my last one, Expedia. So like the second company I sold to RealPage, that was called eSupply Systems. It had a great team in place. I knew I did not want to become an executive at RealPage again. So I had a great progression, succession plan. I agreed with the founder, Steve Wynn at RealPage, that, hey, this is not going to be the place. So we agreed I would do a 3-month consulting agreement. So I'd say that was the one. And that's because I had the idea for Apartment Jet already, like what I wanted to do. Because I would hear these guys at Airbnb getting skewered by these real estate execs. There's got to be a better way. So I knew as soon as that banner went up and the paper was signed with eSupply Systems, I was already on to my next thing.
I was just going to say, so I'm speaking from my own sense where I was my company had been acquired, and I was on the executive team there. I would move to different divisions for working for this new company that acquired us, which was a dumpster fire acquisition. But I had already started building Outworks.
Yes.
And I was scheduling meetings. I was 2 separate calendars. My heart, my brain, everything was all into Outworks. I could give 2 shits about this new company or this company that like had acquired. So I know the struggle that was there. And then one day for me, somebody posted something on like LinkedIn, and I literally have it standing up here. It says, "There's never a perfect time to start anyway." And that was, I literally went upstairs, talked to my wife. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I got to focus all on. So anyway, my separate story. Don't mean to steal that, but
no,
like,
that's
I don't know if you felt any of that.
It's a good, and it's a mindset that I do not have. I have difficulty. It doesn't feel that way because I have these different companies, but I have difficulty building it within the moment, and I could not do that in the moment because of the adjacent, the same industries. So I saw a company to RealPage, even though RealPage did not have a short-term rental solution like Apartment Jet, that would be the same clients. And so all the documents I signed and everything else, I knew I could not build this business while being employed with them. Yeah. So I made sure that was very clear in the process. And when you're big companies, you can be litigious, and I just wanted to avoid that. And I knew I had something really valuable too. So I wanted to make sure those are 2 separate. That made that process much easier. And I'd already been an executive there. I knew I didn't want to do that. And I fought the good fight, to before. Transitioning that felt like a better process. And then I think with my latest iterations, even that, like the Crawford Hoying team, speaking with them, they obviously knew I had okay to charge. We made sure in the agreement, SpendStreet, even have another business, Flex House, that I just kind of do some short-term rentals on the side still as well. So they knew all that documented, and partly is because I'd been sued before by doing all the right things. And that was quite a lesson learned of knowing that even though you do everything the right way and above board, anybody can sue you at any time. So you just have to be prepared and have your ducks in a row.
Yeah. Yep. That's great. So I have a fun question.
Okay, good.
And I'm curious to hear what you have to say to this one. So you have 2 daughters, 3 daughters?
3 daughters. Yeah.
3 daughters. Okay. All right. 3 daughters. So your kids see dad running 3 companies, right?
Yes.
If they had to tell their friends what you do, what version are they giving them?
Ooh, that's a good one. So it depends on which daughter, Okay. But they would probably say, "Oh yeah, dad starts companies in the real estate side, and I'm not sure exactly what he does, but it's technology and real estate is kind of where it lands." Yeah. Okay. I have one daughter out in Silicon Valley, in San Francisco, and she understands it pretty well. But I even pivot my businesses sometimes real time, so I really can't fault them for not knowing. But the youngest, I'll be out there next week at Arizona State. She graduates with a human systems design engineering, so that's pretty exciting. So watch her next week. She's definitely doing an AI project, so it's fun. Yeah, that's great. Because usually I can go in and I can research and look to see who I'm going to be talking to on a lot of these shows, and it's usually just there's typically one thing, but I was very interested because you got these 3 things going, and they all seem like, I know they're all tied together in a certain way, but it's still they're 3 different businesses. So, and then I have my kids. personal LLC that I use for my investments and like real estate and startups. So my youngest daughter as well, she's been been an employee of that company. And then she's built the website. So she's done some of the research for the deals that I'm acquiring. So that's been, or I shouldn't say investing in as well. So that's been fun to be partner with her on that.
Oh, that's cool. Is that your youngest?
Yeah. Yeah, she built the website, and then she's interning for one of my mentors, building more websites. So it's pretty fun to work with your kids.
Yeah, for sure. Mine are too young. I'm not trusting them quite yet.
Okay.
Quite yet. All right, let's get into toward the end of the show. This is called Extra Innings.
Okay.
This is supposed to be Life's a Pitch. So baseball, this is my tie into baseball.
All right.
It's basically rapid fire. So I'm going to give you some questions. You give me answers. I'll try not to go down rabbit holes when I hear your response, but
all right.
I will. So let's start with the first one. What is one lesson in business or in life that you think that more people need to hear? Something you taught others.
Yeah, focus on your health. That's one of those things. It's easy to say, it's harder to do. Work-life balance. It's not work-life balance, it's work-life alignment. There will be times when you really have to put extra effort into work, but just recognize that work will always be there, your body won't. So focus on your health.
Yep. Yeah, the work-life balance thing, whenever I hear that, it's in today's world where most of us are working remote and at home, just, I don't know if it's...
Yeah.
The shift that you just said, I think, is what is spot on. What's the last thing that genuinely scared you?
Genuinely scared me this last summer. It's usually physical. With my daughters and my wife, we went to Park City, and we rode on the road. We went on one of those downhill, not the slalom, the bobsled. Put us in the bobsled, the Olympic bobsled. You go down a mile, and you go in 60 seconds, and you're going 80 miles an hour. I thought I was ready for it. And by the time I'm done, I've got bruises on my arms, my head's flopped all around. About halfway down, I'm thinking, why did I pay money to do this? What am I thinking? And that wasn't even the worst part. That was pretty bad. And then we went down these inner tubes, and you're sitting on your bottom, and you're sliding down this hill going about 30, 40 miles an hour. And you're like, why am I a 50-year-old man doing something this foolish? That was maybe scary, maybe regret might be a better word.
Yeah, I've heard those stories with bobsled where people just get bruised up from. I have friends that live in Park City, so we go out and visit them every once in a while, but usually during like when the snows, when it's ski season.
Yes.
I've heard that is they've said like, yeah, don't do that. Like,
yeah, I'm not giving them a good sales pitch. It was pretty wild, but my goodness, you just like bang, 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 the G forces. Yeah. Saying, don't do a C curve because it'll crunch your back. So you got to sit up straight and all the energy. I'm like,
it's too much work. It's like you didn't pay for that. You didn't pay for all that work.
Exactly.
Oh God. All right. What is something that you absolutely love talking about that drives everyone else in your life batshit crazy?
Oh, easy one. South Dakota School of Mines. I love it.
It's very funny that usually I send emails back and forth with people like that, because we hadn't met prior to this. Yes, right. And you were very adamant, and you wrote like South Dakota School of Mines ! Like the things that I want to talk about. I want to make sure that we hit on South Dakota. Exactly. All right. Well, we're going to stay here then.
Yeah, good.
What is it that's so great about South Dakota School of Mines?
So there's so many things. So first off, like I'm this small town farm kid, no money whatsoever. I go there, like $500 football scholarship, all the Pell Grants and all this stuff. I'm a night guard at the art gallery doing my calculus. I can do all the things, be a student, great price. So low cost of going to school. And I get an electrical engineering degree, an amazing degree. And you're getting recruited by Boeing and Cargill and all these great companies. And this little school in South Dakota just produced. So it gave me all this opportunity. So my tithing, if you will, goes to South Dakota School of Mines because I owe it so much. And like I said, I played football there. I blew my knee out one year. So while I was repairing, I played in the band. How do you do that? I was
there you go.
Past president. Spoke, in a fraternity.
Have that conversation with Bobby Hoyne. Hey, if you would have gotten hurt, would you have gone to play in the band at Ohio State? Probably not.
Probably the I. What do they dot the I or whatever the tube?
Oh yeah.
I don't see Bobby doing that yet.
Sousaphone. It's a sousaphone.
Thank you.
Yes.
What a great correction. That's great.
Yes.
Well, my band teacher would not be happy about that. But yeah, I just love it. And I'm still active today. You know, I have a scholarship there. I have I'm an innovator there. So I have the Broughton Spark Award so that kids can create prototypes of their products and just participate as much as possible.
Awesome. Do you get back there a lot?
I do, about once a year. This coffee mug is Engineers Make Great Entrepreneurs. It's a program, and I help support that. It was one of the things that was not alive when I was there. I had this invention when I was a senior design. 97 was when I was there, so some of your listeners weren't even born yet. So I invented this concept that would be in your vehicle, an emergency breakthrough system. It would separate your speakers from your stereo and put an emergency system saying, you know, emergency vehicle is near or train is near. You know, like the white lights on top of cameras. I invented something myself. My partner invented something to split the sound and then push something back within like a 300 meter radius. Try to get patents. There's nobody knew how to patent. Nobody knew innovation. Nothing. So that's why I support that back there. And then the probably most important thing is that U.S. News World Report came out and said it's the lowest cost per value. So like there was a time where the average starting salary at school mines was higher than the cost of 4 years of school, which is just unheard of. So that's
insane.
Yeah, insane. Yep, value.
You know, it's funny now, like when I'm driving and there's an accident up front or traffic is stopped up front, my speakers will all cut out and it will say there's something in the road up front, or there's something up front.
Because
somebody
of Waymo.
janked your idea. Somebody took your idea.
Exactly. I was before the cell phone, though. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I had a near field radio communication. All good.
All right. Next question. What is the one tool or software that you use in work or in life that you absolutely cannot live without?
My calendar. Yeah. Because of 3 businesses, kids, investments, all these things. The first thing I do is I look at my calendar. How is it stacked? How can I move things around? And especially Google Calendar is so nice. You just subscribe to all these different, bring them all in. Sure, my AI will get there eventually, but it's just not quite dialed in just yet. But yeah, calendar, simple stuff.
Yeah. So speaking of the AI component to that, one of the things that I've built in, my calendar does not look like yours, I got to assume.
Oh,
but
sure, it's
one of the things that I built in is like in Claude Code every day in the morning, I get the Slack notification about here's what's going on today. Here's the things that you need to pay attention to. It doesn't look like you followed up with this person, like all this stuff. And I like live by that every day, and it's been spot on. So just having those types of tools now available for busy calendars like you've got is pretty awesome.
And then to your point, it's looking at your emails too. I mean, it's just such a nice value. And now it's slowly starting to get access to more of the files, my Google Gmail, my G Drive, started to pull in email, contracts, and the fact I use ChatGPT more solely. My Anthropic is for my coding and things like that. But yeah, ChatGPT has all my memory and stores that information.
Yeah, it's great. What is the truth about business that you didn't believe until you lived it? So truth about business or being an entrepreneur or whatever. One of those things where you're just like, man, I did not see that one coming.
The smartest person in the room is not always the right person. It's sometimes odd. Just because you're highly intelligent, going to engineering school, you're surrounded by a lot of very smart people. But just because you're highly intelligent does not mean that you have the right answer.
Yes.
Knowledge, experience, exposure to information, having access to the right people is more important than knowledge or just intelligence, unfortunately.
Yep. Great point. I'll leave that one there. So last 2 questions. This one is very corny, but I think that it tells you a lot about somebody. So I always ask it. All right, you're going to a dinner party, you're going to the bar, you're going out for drinks, whatever it is you're doing. You're allowed to invite 3 people with you, living or dead. Who are those 3 people?
Oh my goodness, you should have given me a heads up on this one. 3 people, living or dead, I can invite anybody.
Anybody.
My goodness. Well, if I can invite anybody living, I'd have to give both my grandfathers because I would love to spend more time with them. So that's 2. And then the third person, my goodness, I'd probably need a translator.
All right.
Translator
can come in. You're allowed to bring a translator.
Yeah, somebody that's just dominant. Oh, I can't bring a translator. That's a 4th person.
No, you can bring them.
Power.
Translator counts. Yeah. So if you wanted, for example, to bring like Otani, the translator can come and probably place a bunch of bets for you.
I'd want to bring Leonardo da Vinci and just like pick his brain. Like, how did you come up with these things? How did you draw those things? How could one human create all the things that he created in his time? I was struggling between da Vinci and Isaac Newton, to be frank. I was like, okay, where do I go? Just to see, what goes on in a person's brain to accomplish that much in that amount of time.
Yeah. I know what his answer wouldn't be. I use AI.
Exactly. He's like, I built my own little mechanical computer and it makes decisions. It's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. He probably had visions or something.
God.
Coffee.
All right, last one. Easy
Yes.
one. What was your first concert? What was the last concert you went to?
Oh my goodness, you're putting me on the spot, my friend. My first concert, MC Hammer. Too legit
No
to quit.
shit. Yes.
Too legit. Too legit to quit.
You know all the words, too. Don't say that you don't know the words.
Cannot even
If it
pretend.
popped on the radio right now, you would probably know most of the words of that
Oh,
song.
yeah. I'd be doing the Hammer Time right now, the whole thing. I love that. Exactly. And then the last concert I was at, shoot, I got to think on that one a little bit. It's been a little bit, but it was Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks.
Elton John? Stevie Nicks.
It was Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks. They were in Arizona, so we were able to see that. That was amazing. That was pretty cool.
That's an incredible show. I've seen Billy Joel a few times. I could rabbit hole an incredible Billy Joel story.
Okay.
But we can. Okay, fine. I'll do it. Here we go. Quick. I'll give you the fast version of it. The first time I saw Billy Joel, one of my best friends from high school went to Miami of Ohio. Her roommate at Miami of Ohio.
Okay.
She lived in New York City at the time after Miami. Her roommate lived in New York City. Her roommate was dating Billy Joel and lived with Billy Joel in the Hamptons. It was Katie Lee, who's now is like famous like on TV for chefs or whatever.
Yeah, it's a good friend to have.
So we and Katie, my friend, would drive out to take the train out to the Hamptons, and Billy Joel would literally pick her up in his car, and she would stay there. So he came to Cleveland. I'm from Cleveland. We got a big group of people together in a limo. Got second row seats to Billy Joel. And when people ask like, how did you get those seats?
Yeah.
It's literally Billy Joel like hooked us up with these seats.
From Billy Joel.
From Billy Joel. Yeah.
Outstanding. And the dude performs. Yeah, he does great.
Yes. Yeah. Great show. Great show. And Stevie Nicks, I've seen her as well with Fleetwood Mac. So yeah, great show. Awesome.
So, that's great.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
the
it.
Fleetwood Mac, I'll just do real quick there. So my wife and I went to Des Moines, Iowa to see them play. It was their third show. We were able to be third row seats, meet and greet with Mick Fleetwood for the same price as 200 level seats as United Center. Like we're driving to Des Moines. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and the meet and greet as well.
And the meet and greet. It was outstanding. I'd just been to his place in Lahaina before. It's unbelievable. It's good.
Yeah,
times.
and you forget how many amazing songs they have too.
Oh my goodness!
There's just one banger after another. It's like, oh, I forgot about this one. It's one of those shows.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Well, that's cool. Billy Joel's a cool story.
Hey, this has been awesome. Thank you for coming on. That's a wrap. How can people find you? Like anything you want to plug?
Always find me on LinkedIn. Eric Broughton. I'm always open to chat with people. OK to charge, letter O, letter K, number 2, charge.com. Use Turnit.com, SpendStreet.com, too many .coms. That's why I check out my LinkedIn. And anybody in real estate, look me up. I got a solution for you, or I know somebody who does.
Awesome. That is great closing line there. I got a solution for you, or I know somebody that does. I got a guy. Big thanks to Eric for coming on the show today. Really enjoyed the conversation. If you liked it, share it, tell a friend, go subscribe to it, follow it. I need to build this base up so I can continue to have just amazing guests like Eric on. And remember, behind every strategy, title, or success story, there's chaos, self-doubt, and a whole lot of trial and error. We will see you next time.